taking their cattle to water, they have houses, they perform rituals, they seem to have a very good time, they all seem to be playing and dancing, and there is no doubt at all that they're black.
Village teams, each wearing its own distinctive colour, have gathered from a wide area to take part in one of the oldest of all sporting events, but also a passion among the Nuba, wrestling. But for the historian, there's another close relationship between the Nuba wrestling of today and that of ancient times. Dating from around 2500 BC, these vivid paintings have been copied from an Egyptian tomb at Beni Hassan.
Dr. Carroll's claim of an Egypto-Nubian wrestling connection to the modern Nuba is tenuous at best. There's no evidence of Nuba wrestling in the Kordofan region anywhere during Egyptian times. The artwork he's showing is in Beni Hassan, which is in northern Egypt, nowhere near the Kordofan region of Sudan, which is where the Nuba live. And the Nuba have been shown to be the Niger-Congo language group, which now they've expanded to call Niger-Kordofan to include the Nuba. In other words, linguistically, they are more related to Niger-Congo populations than they are to Afro-Asiatic or Nilotic populations. Genetically, studies have also shown that the Nuba group much farther apart than Egyptian Copts and Nubians group to each other, even though the Copts are light-skinned, the Nubians are dark-skinned. Artwork that have broad features. Would I use this to make a racial claim on Egyptians? No, because in that same tomb there's other artwork that shows people that don't have broad features. In other words, diversity. Even since the earliest times, it would be foolish to make a claim of Egyptian origins.
It is made clear that the pharaohs were trading and meeting the people of Yam in the distant southwest, 700 kilometers away from the Nile. Now, where was Yam? Because it seems that Uwainat, this strange rock massif that stands there, was not the place where these people lived, was a place where they met the pharaohs, like an envoy. They would come down from the distant Tibeti mountains and link up with a envoy from the pharaohs to trade. And that's what the inscription says, that they meet the people of Yam. So it looks like this mysterious ancient kingdom was somewhere in the Chad. And that's where everything starts. If that theory is correct, and it looks like it is because of the evidence, then the origin of the ancient Egyptians was from there. It was a black African origin. What is even more interesting now is that the ancient Egyptians met their own ancestors. They were going to actually go and see them in Jebel Uwainat.
Yeah. So
now let me tell you.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to add a little bit of pepper and salt to all this, because here's the strangest thing: is that in the Bible, there is a mention of the people of Ham. The people of Ham are the descendants of the son of Noah. One of the sons of Noah was called Ham.
Yes. And
according to the Bible, it is Ham who populated with his children Central Africa. So there's a little slightly hop from the word Ham to Yam.
Yes. How do you spell Yam, by the way?
Well, in ancient Egyptian, it's the letter that forms a Y or I and M, and so it's the best way to pronounce it is like Yam.
Yeah. Oh, okay, gotcha.
Whereas in Semitic, it's either ham or ham with a guttural sound.
Yes.
And I'm getting more and more convinced that, as strange as it may seem, it looks like the Bible was right. And that we have a original people from, well, we know for a fact, I mean, it's been known since Louis Leary found the famous prehistoric skulls in the Rift Valley. I mean, we all come from Central Africa. I mean, there's no doubt about that at all. And we all come from a black African origin. And the reason we're white is not because we're a different human beings, it's because our pigmentation has changed. The melatonin in our skin has slowly disappeared, and although it's still in the black races, because we don't need to be black. You know, we live in colder climates. So, you know, there's nothing new about this. What is new is that they are the originators of civilization, whereas it was denied to them for a long, long time. I mean, we simply ignored the possibility of an African civilization, although we knew there was some civilization that had sprung, but no Egyptologist, anthropologist, certainly of the previous century, would even claim that there was a genesis in the African civilization. We always assume that our Western civilization is from Greece, and Greece got it from somewhere else, but definitely not from Africa.
In another part of the Nuba Hills, just a few miles to the southeast, the teachings of Islam have made no headway at all. The people of these villages have quite consciously chosen to reject either Western or Islamic dress. Free spirits under an African sky, young girls dance as much for their own pleasure as for the spectators, breathing life into these astonishingly similar images of Nubian dancing girls, performing for the pharaohs 5,000 years ago.
Astonishingly similar to whom? Maybe to an old British professor like Dr. Carroll, not exposed to a lot of different cultures around the world, where he sees nudity and sees they're all the same. The artwork clearly shows more complex instrumentation, dancing moves, clothing that fit into the Egypto-Nubian cultural tradition as seen by these Egyptian women here that do not look Nuba.
I fucked up now, you know that, don't you?
As shown by prior iconography, I've shown it to you with some of the wrestlers. The Egyptians knew how to draw rock features, and these Nubians or Egyptians do not show those features. Furthermore, Nuba are known for scarification in their body. You see no scarification in any of the iconography of any Muslim or any of this artwork that he's claiming is Nuba dancers in Nubian iconography. And like I said, linguistically and genetically, they're not similar. Here claiming similarity just because they're nude and dancing is ridiculous. MedjayCommander, you said this video somehow debunked what I stated with Shamarka Keita. I've seen nothing here that affects anything that I've said. Again, Egypt was diverse, it had dark skin, and it had light skinned people. And obviously the majority was actually somewhere in between. Egypt was not black, Egypt was not white. There is no biological race of black, there's no biological race of white. Now as far as those colors can be used as hyperbole, sure, there were Egyptians we could call black or dark skinned. But in the same token, if we're using hyperboles where black means dark skin, we can use white to refer to light skin. So even though these Egyptians were indigenous, weren't European, until of course, obviously, the Ptolemaic era, there were Egyptians since the inception that were lighter skinned. So if you can call the other group indigenous blacks, you can call this group indigenous whites, because that's all it is. It's a hyperbole for saying there were light skinned and dark skinned Egyptians. And for every dark-skinned image that you can present a light-skinned image, and vice versa. Anyone trying to claim that Egypt was only one look, be it white or black, is wrong.
Fatality.
That's the pattern, folks. Anytime anything having to do with Africa is mentioned, they absolutely must put a white person in there. And failing that, they simply don't mention it at all. They pretend as if it never happened. This is a mass mental disorder of vast proportions.